there has been a fundamental progress in revitalization of an economy that as at 2022 was on its deathbed. One, inflation rate has gone down from 9.2% as at 2022. We are now at 4.5%. Exchange rate, again, where the shilling was going for an average of 160 shillings to the dollar, today we are at 129 shillings to the dollar. A drastic and dramatic performance. Revenue collection was at the level of 1.9 trillion. Today we are at 2.9 trillion. Our fiscal deficit has reduced from 6.2% to 5.8%. The foreign exchange reserves, which was at 7.7 billion shillings at 2022, we are now at 10.9 billion as at August 2025. When we came into government, the base lending rate was at about 12.3%, but due to tightening of the monetary space by way of monetary policy interventions, it shot up, you remember, to about over 20% within 1 year, but we have now managed to sustain it at a more stable level where it's going for about 15.24%. Then the elephant in the room, the debt. When we came into government, as at June 2022, October 2022, the public debt was at 8.76 trillion. That constituted 68.7% of our GDP. The amount of debt has gone up from 8.76 to 11.81 trillion as at June 2025. But this is now 67.8% of the GDP, as opposed to 68.7% of the GDP. So as much as the level of debt has gone up, you cannot look at debt in isolation. Because why do you borrow money? You borrow money so that you pump it into the economy. So you have to look at the level of debt vis-a-vis the volume or the value of goods and services which are produced in the economy, as opposed to just absolute debt figures. So the good news is that our ratio of debt to GDP has gone down from 68.7% to now 67.8%. So good people, I can state confidently that we may not have so far realized everything that we plan to do. We recently did a midterm review of that plan. In areas where we are lagging behind, we will come up with the necessary interventions to catalyze progress. In areas where we are doing well, we will sustain that for the remainder of the activity period. Most recently also, I've been assigned a function of efficiency in government, and I look forward to working closely with you good people in that space. The Government Efficiency Office has been established under my functional domain, and we want to see how to re-engineer the processes in government so that we can have efficiency, efficacy, and effectiveness in service delivery, and most importantly, seal up all the revenue, the loopholes for revenue leakages so that we can enhance accountability levels in government also, so that we don't have public officials dipping their hands into the public jar.
The Kenya we want must be anchored on institutions that promote sustainability. This extends beyond environmental stewardship. It means embedding long-term thinking into our economic governance. Too often, short-termism has taken precedence over structural transformation. Institutionalization, therefore, offers a correction of this ideological viewpoint. Equally important is the institutionalization of inclusion. Inclusive prosperity is not a natural outcome of growth. It must be deliberately structured into our systems. Institutions that expand access to education, protect property rights of women and marginalized groups, and ensure fair taxation are essential building blocks of an economy where opportunities are more evenly distributed. Where rules remain unevenly applied or where enforcement is limited, growth risks leaving some behind. The future of Kenya's development will also depend on our ability to strengthen institutional credibility. Trust in public institutions is a cornerstone of economic performance. Where citizens trust that contracts will be enforced, that justice is impartial, and that public resources are managed responsibly, they are more likely to invest, innovate, and participate productively. Strengthening credibility means that reforms must not only exist on paper, but must be visible in action, consistently applied across the board. Our task is to nurture institutions that foster innovation while managing risks, that balance efficiency with equity, and that bridge present needs with future aspirations. In closing, I urge us all to embrace institutional economics, not as an academic abstraction, but as a practical framework for policy. Commit to embedding decision-making in institutions that are transparent, accountable, and resilient. Let us prioritize reforms that institutionalize sustainability and inclusion. And let us remember that the Kenya we want cannot be achieved by chance, but by the deliberate design of institutions that work for all citizens. Together, we can make institutionalization the cornerstone of our development agenda. For in doing so, we will ensure that Kenya's prosperity